Did you know that nearly 48 million Americans get sick each year from foodborne illnesses, and over 3,000 of them lose their lives? A large number of those affected are seniors. The CDC tells us that as we age, our immune systems aren't as strong as they once were, which means we're more vulnerable to these illnesses. What's especially concerning is that many of these issues actually start in our own refrigerators, the place we count on to keep our food fresh and safe. It might surprise you, but recent studies have shown that storing certain foods the wrong way in the fridge can actually raise your risk of food poisoning. Not only that, but it can also reduce the nutrients in your food and even cause harmful chemical changes, something especially important for older adults to be aware of. Most people don't realize this is happening. If you've ever put a fruit, vegetable, or pantry item into the fridge without thinking much about it, you may have been unknowingly putting your health at risk. One food on this list might seem perfectly harmless, but it's actually more damaging than you'd expect. Chilling it can strip it of important nutrients and may even cause it to form harmful compounds. That's why it's so important to stay with us to the end of this video, because what you'll learn today could help protect your health and possibly even save your life. So if you're ready, let's begin. Before we get into the details, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and click that button and don't forget to turn on the bell icon, so you'll never miss another health tip made just for you. I'd love to hear from you. Let's talk about 3 foods you should never refrigerate. First up, peanut butter. For many older adults, peanut butter is more than just a snack. It's comfort food. It brings back memories from childhood, and now, in our later years, it's a handy source of protein and healthy fats. But what if this trusted favorite, quietly sitting in your refrigerator, is actually doing more harm than good? It may sound surprising, but for seniors, refrigerating peanut butter can come with hidden downsides. When you store peanut butter in the fridge, it goes through some physical changes. The oils harden, the texture thickens, and it becomes stiff, sometimes so much that it's hard to spread without a struggle. For seniors dealing with arthritis, weak grip strength, or limited hand movement, the simple task of making a sandwich can turn into a frustrating and even painful experience. That once easy moment of fixing a snack or meal becomes difficult and unpleasant. But the texture isn't the only problem. Chilling peanut butter can also change the way its healthy fats behave, especially the monounsaturated fats that help keep cholesterol in check and support heart health. If you're moving your peanut butter in and out of the fridge repeatedly, those fats can start to break down in a process called oxidation. This isn't something you can see or taste, but it means that the peanut butter you rely on to support your heart might actually be increasing inflammation instead working against your health rather than helping it. And then there's what you can't see: the slow loss of important nutrients. Over time, peanut butter kept in the fridge can lose vitamin E, a key antioxidant that helps protect your brain and fights off damaged and aging cells. For older adults looking to stay mentally sharp and reduce stress on the brain, this nutrient loss really matters. You may not notice the difference in flavor. You probably won't see any obvious change. But with each cold spoonful, you're losing just a little more of what makes peanut butter so nourishing. And beyond the health impact, there's an emotional cost too. For many seniors, food isn't just about staying full. It's about routine, joy, and independence. When something as simple as spreading peanut butter becomes difficult, or when the taste isn't quite right anymore, it can chip away at that sense of comfort and control. The fridge, in this case, isn't protecting your food. It's taking something from it. Thankfully, there's a simple fix. Keep your peanut butter in a cool, dry pantry. Make sure it's tightly sealed and away from any heat or sunlight. This way, it stays smooth, easy to spread, and full of the nutrients your body needs. Your hands will feel the difference, and so will your heart. But if peanut butter, something we all think of as safe, can carry hidden risks when refrigerated, what about another common food that's even sneakier? One that can spoil your meals, grow bacteria, and leave your fridge smelling worse than you'd expect. Let's talk about onions. Now, let's move on to the second food. Onions might not steal the spotlight in the kitchen, but they're always there, adding flavor, depth, and comfort to home-cooked meals. Especially for older adults, Onions are a kitchen staple that brings warmth and tradition to the table. But storing onions in the fridge? That's where problems begin. When you put whole onions in the cold, damp environment of your refrigerator, they start to change. Onions have a papery outer layer that protects them and helps them thrive in dry, airy conditions. But the fridge messes with that balance. The moisture creeps in. The layers get soft. The once firm, fragrant onion turns musty, and more prone to mold. And this isn't just about texture. For seniors, especially those with weaker immune systems or sensitive stomachs, these changes can be risky. Mold and bacteria love the damp conditions inside a fridge, and they can easily contaminate cut onions even if they're in a container. And once those microbes are there, your body may have a harder time fighting them off. But that's not all. Onions are packed with something called quercetin, a natural compound that helps ease joint pain and supports heart health. Unfortunately, when onions are kept in the fridge, their cellular structure starts to break down faster, and that means they lose important nutrients, including quercetin. So the very onion that could be helping to ease your arthritis or protect your heart, it's losing its power quietly, one day at a time. And again, there's an emotional toll. When a food you've always trusted starts to smell odd, taste dull, or behave differently, it can make you question your own kitchen. And in these later years, when food is about more than just nourishment, that small shift can make a big difference in your peace of mind. Luckily, this is an easy problem to fix. Whole onions should be kept in a dry, dark basket with plenty of airflow. No fridge needed. Treat them right, and they'll keep their flavor and their health benefits. But even as useful as onions are, there's one more food that's even more fragile, a fruit you probably eat all the time, without realizing how easily it can lose its goodness in the cold. Let's take a look at bananas. There's something comforting about bananas. Soft, sweet, and easy to digest, they're often one of the first fruits we enjoy as children, and one of the last we hold on to as we get older. For many seniors, bananas aren't just a snack. They're a steady source of energy, potassium, and a little bit of joy in the day. But here's the part that surprises a lot of people. Putting bananas in the refrigerator, even with the best of intentions, can quietly take away everything that makes them so helpful, especially for aging bodies. At first glance, putting a banana in the fridge doesn't seem like a big deal. You might notice the peel turning dark, but that's just the outside, right? What's really happening, though, is something called cold injury. Bananas come from tropical climates, and they simply aren't built to handle the cold. When bananas are exposed to chilly temperatures, the natural ripening process slows down or even stops completely. That means the starches inside the fruit don't get a chance to turn into sugars. So while the banana may look ripe on the outside, when you take a bite, it might taste stiff, starchy, or even off. It's not the banana you were expecting. And this isn't just about taste or texture. The real concern is what's happening on the inside, where the nutrients live. Bananas contain important antioxidants, like dopamine and catechins, which help fight inflammation and protect brain function. These are especially important for seniors because they support mood, memory, and overall brain health. But once a banana has been chilled, those nutrients start to break down, quietly, permanently. So the banana you're eating might still fill your belly, but it's no longer offering the same support to your nervous system or your heart. And there's one more hidden risk. When bananas become overripe and then get placed in the fridge, moisture can build up under the peel, especially around the stem. This creates the perfect environment for mold. For someone with a healthy immune system, it might not be a big deal. But for seniors, that kind of mold exposure can pose a real danger. This isn't just about nutrients or spoilage, it's about trust. In our later years, when every food choice matters a little more, we need to be able to count on the things we eat. A banana should be a source of strength, not a disappointment. The good news is that the solution is easy. Bananas do best when stored at room temperature. Ideally, hang them on a banana hook or place them in an open fruit bowl so air can circulate freely. If they ripen too fast, just peel and freeze them. They're perfect for smoothies or baking that way. But try not to let the cold rob this gentle fruit of everything it has to offer. We've now seen how the way we store even the simplest foods can quietly affect our well-being. But what about the foods that absolutely need to be kept cold? The ones that, if left out, could become truly dangerous, especially for seniors? Let's keep going. Now, let's move on to the next part: 3 foods that you must keep cold, or you could be risking your health. First up, cooked meats and leftovers. There's something special about a home-cooked meal. The smell filling the house, the warmth of the plate, and the comfort of knowing exactly what went into your food. For many older adults, leftovers are more than just convenient. They help stretch a budget, make meal prep easier, and preserve the flavors of home. But if those leftovers, especially cooked meats, aren't put into the fridge quickly and properly, that comfort can turn into a silent danger. Most people think that once food is cooked, it's safe. But actually, once it starts to cool on the counter, that's when bacteria start to grow. Dangerous bacteria like Listeria, Clostridium perfringens, and Salmonella can begin multiplying in your food as soon as it cools below cooking temperature. And here's the catch for seniors, whose immune systems and digestion may be slower than they used to be. These bacteria are even more dangerous. Younger folks might get a bit of an upset stomach and bounce back in a day or 2. But for older adults, foodborne illness can mean a trip to the hospital, dehydration, or much worse. And it doesn't take long. Just 2 hours at room temperature is all it takes for bacteria to reach unsafe levels. Even worse, you can't always tell when food is spoiled. It might look, smell, and even taste perfectly fine, but the harmful bacteria could still be there, waiting. And when they enter your body, the signs aren't always obvious. Instead of a stomachache, it might show up as dizziness, confusion, or a low fever, symptoms that are easy to overlook or blame on something else. If left untreated, that simple piece of meat you left out could cause serious inflammation, make arthritis worse, or put extra strain on your heart or kidneys. That's why this isn't just about being careful, it's about protecting your well-being. Thankfully, keeping leftovers safe is simple. As soon as you're done eating, cool them quickly and store them in the fridge in a sealed container. Don't let them sit out. And mark the date. 2 leftovers are usually safest when eaten within 3 to 4 days. After that, even if they still look okay, the risk becomes too high. So the next time you're packing up a meal, remember, if you're not eating it now, get it into the fridge as soon as you can. That one small action can make a huge difference in staying safe and feeling well. But meats and leftovers aren't the only foods that can spoil fast. There's another everyday item, smooth, white, and comforting, that can turn harmful more quickly than you might think. Let's talk about dairy. There's something timeless about dairy. A cold glass of milk with breakfast, a slice of cheese in the afternoon, or a small dish of yogurt in the evening. These simple pleasures have been part of many of our routines for years. They bring comfort, a sense of tradition, and even a little nostalgia. For seniors especially, dairy can feel like an old friend. But behind that smooth texture and creamy taste lies a very real truth. Dairy products must be kept cold. If not, the consequences can go far beyond a sour smell or an unpleasant taste. They can be serious, even dangerous. Milk, cheese, and yogurt are packed with good things: proteins, healthy fats, calcium, and vitamins like B12 and D. These nutrients are especially important as we age, helping to keep our bones strong, support our energy levels, and maintain a healthy brain. But those same nutrients also make dairy a perfect environment for bacteria to grow when it's not kept cold. And for older adults, the risk is greater. As we age, our stomachs don't produce as much acid, our immune system slows down, and our bodies can't fight off infections the way they used to. A little bacteria that might barely bother a younger person can hit a senior hard with foodborne illness, dehydration, or even hospitalization. It doesn't take much. Just leaving dairy out on the counter for a few hours can be enough to trigger the start of spoilage. The structure of the food begins to change. Bacteria begin to multiply quietly. You may not see anything wrong. You might not even smell it. But the danger is there. And the effects aren't just in your stomach. Contaminated dairy can lead to digestive issues, but it can also spark inflammation in your joints, trigger fatigue, or aggravate conditions like arthritis or heart disease. For those managing chronic health problems, a spoiled spoonful of yogurt or a piece of cheese left out too long can push the body past its limit. This is the true cost of mishandled dairy, not just an upset stomach, but lost energy, lingering pain, and unnecessary suffering, all because of one small oversight. The solution is straightforward and effective. As soon as you're done using any dairy product, put it back in the fridge. Keep your refrigerator temperature below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Use airtight containers. Check expiration dates. Don't take chances. Because when it comes to dairy, the margin for error is slim and recovery, for seniors, can take much longer. But spoilage isn't the only concern when food isn't stored properly. There's another group of foods delicate, leafy, and full of nutrients that many seniors rely on every day. And when they aren't kept cold, the impact can be just as serious, though harder to see at first. Let's talk about leafy greens. Leafy greens might look fragile, but they're some of the most powerful foods you can eat, especially as you get older. A handful of spinach in your morning omelet, a fresh salad at lunch, or a little sauteed kale at dinner. These greens carry a surprising punch. They're packed with nutrients that support memory, bone strength, circulation, and even emotional well-being. But for all their benefits, leafy greens are incredibly sensitive. Once they're harvested, they begin to break down quickly. Unlike potatoes or carrots, they don't last long on the counter. They need cold to stay fresh, both in flavor and in nutrition. Leave greens out at room temperature even for a few hours, and they'll start to wilt. That part you can see. What you can't see is that they're also losing vital nutrients: folate, vitamin K, lutein, compounds that are essential for protecting your brain, your eyes, and your heart. These are the very nutrients that help seniors stay sharp, strong, and steady. But it gets worse. When greens begin to soften and moisture starts to gather, whether they're sitting out or kept in a container that doesn't breathe properly, they become a breeding ground for bacteria. Harmful bugs like E. coli and Listeria love those damp corners and soft spots, and they've been responsible for some serious outbreaks tied to fresh produce. What might look like just a little wilting or a few dark spots can actually be dangerous. And for an older adult, the effects of a foodborne illness from spoiled greens can be long-lasting digestive upset, increased joint inflammation, dehydration, or even a hospital stay. This is the hidden cost of letting greens go bad. It's not just about tossing out a soggy salad. It's about missing out on nutrients that could protect your health. It's about taking a small risk that could lead to big problems. But with a little care, you can keep your greens and their benefits intact. Store them in the crisper drawer of your fridge. Wrap them gently in a paper towel to absorb extra moisture. Use containers or bags that let them breathe. The goal isn't just to keep them looking good. It's to preserve the healing power they carry. As we finish this, look at what foods to keep cold and which ones not to. It's worth asking how much of what we do in our kitchens is based on habit, and how much is based on understanding. Because every item we put into the fridge or leave out on the counter is a choice. A small choice, yes, but one that either builds us up or slowly chips away at our strength. Your refrigerator should be working for your health, not against it. We've seen today that not everything belongs in the fridge. Some foods lose their nutrients, others can grow harmful bacteria. But by paying attention and making a few easy changes, you can protect your immune system, reduce inflammation, and help your medications do their job more effectively. And really, isn't that what we all want as we get older? Not just more years in our lives, but better years. One thing I've come to understand as I age is that our bodies speak to us quietly, but clearly. A little ache, a wave of fatigue, an upset stomach, these things aren't random. They're messages. And often, they're connected to how we eat and how we store our food. The fridge isn't the enemy, but using it the wrong way can cost us slowly, silently. So here's something simple you can do. Keep a small list of foods that should never go into the fridge. Tape it right to the door. Let it remind you, because even small actions like that can bring peace of mind. And maybe share what you've learned today with a friend, a neighbor, or someone in your family. These tips aren't just for you. they can help someone else avoid illness or discomfort too. And that's a powerful thing. The truth is, we've all made mistakes in the kitchen. I know I have. But now that we know better, we can do better. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to think about one thing you've learned today that you're going to start doing differently. Share it in the comments. I'd really enjoy reading it. Let's support one another on this journey of staying strong, sharp, and well. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, created especially for you. Thank you so much for watching, and take good care.